Hi everyone, Andrew DeStefano from Putnam County Crime Analysis. I'm talking to you today about the 2017 sheriff race, and I'm doing that because my name was wrongfully invalidated from the ballot. That's because over 600 signatures on my petition were wrongfully invalidated at the challenge hearing, and when I had to sue and I had to go to court, I won, and the judge ordered me to be put back. However, unfortunately, in election law, when you file a lawsuit, you have 1 day to serve the other side. So I had 1 day to serve the Board of Elections and the person who filed the challenges. The judge, the county court judge, held the papers for I had 1 day to serve the papers. The county court judge held the papers for 4 days. It wasn't even the duty judge. He somehow wound up with the papers, and he held them for 4 days. A state Supreme Court judge, a senior state Supreme Court judge, was sent up from Westchester County by Judge Shankman, the chief judge, to find out what the heck was going on. And he found out that this judge had these papers for 4 days and did nothing. So even though the senior judge told him, listen, I'm going to take these papers and I'm going to do this myself, the damage is already done. Okay? So I'm here to tell you and point out, because the challenge hearing should be coming up soon with various candidates. And I do want to point out that in 2017, the Board of Elections at that time apparently had no idea that this box right here that I'm pointing out, this is the designating petition. This is what you fill out when you want to get signatures. This box right here, this is called a witness identification information section. And all they ask for here is the town and the county. Okay. So again, this is the same petition. I kind of blew it up. This is what we're talking about. And this is very important. That's why I'm going after it. The witness identification information section. Pretty soon, there's going to be challenges already filed. And pretty soon, there's probably going to be challenge hearings. And the Board of Elections needs to know that this box here, the witness identification information section, asking for town and county, this hasn't had to be filled out since January 1st, 1993. So when I did my petitions in 2017, I hadn't had to fill out, you haven't had to fill out this line for the past 24 years. And yet somehow the Board of Elections in 2017 didn't know that. And over 600 of my signatures were invalidated because this line wasn't filled out. All right, town and county. I didn't fill this out because I didn't have to fill it out, and I knew it. I knew what the election law was. I didn't fill it out because I knew I didn't have to. And if I would have filled it out and gotten it wrong, the elections commissioner who was supporting and voted for the incumbent, he would have invalidated it on that basis if I would have gotten it wrong. Even though, again, you haven't had to fill out this line at that time for 24 years, since January 1st of 1993. Okay? So when you want to know about the election law, where do you go? You go to the election law, right? So this is page 29 of the election law. This is the section that deals with witness identification information. What does it say here? The appellate division has reiterated that where the witness failed to provide their town or city of residence, such an error is not a fatal defect. Was that so difficult? Should I say it again? I'll say it again. The appellate division has reiterated that where the witness failed to provide their town or city of residence, such an error is not a fatal defect. The Board of Elections Commissioner claimed that this was a fatal defect, and 600 of my signatures got thrown out unlawfully. And I feel it was only because, just to get me into court, where his judge was waiting for the papers, because he wasn't even the duty judge that day. Okay. This is the appellate division here. This is the same page 29. I just blew it up in case you want to read it. The appellate division has reiterated that where the witness failed to provide their town or city of residence, such an error is not a fatal defect. Why? Because the witness is writing it in other places on the same page. So you don't need that redundancy, but it's right there. The appellate division has reiterated that where the witness failed to provide their town or city of residence, such an error is not a fatal defect. Again, 600 signatures thrown out because that line wasn't filled out. I didn't fill out that line because I didn't have to. Okay, this is another piece of evidence that apparently the Board of Elections didn't know about. The Election Reform Act 1992, which became effective January 1st, 1993, requires only that an attesting witness furnish a residence and entirely eliminated any requirement for the inclusion in the statement of witness of the town or city where the witness resides. How is it that the Elections Commissioner didn't know about this? 600 signatures of mine were invalidated because the witness ID line wasn't filled out. Well, what does it say here? What does it say here? The Election Reform Act of 1992, which became effective January 1st, 1993, requires only that an attesting witness furnish a residence and entirely eliminated any requirement for the inclusion in the statement of witness of the town or city where the witness resides. Right above that, right above the witness ID section, where they ask for town and county, the witness writes the name, address, town, and zip code. And the Court of Appeals have ruled that that's good enough. It's good enough for the Court of Appeals, but not the Elections Commissioner of Putnam County in 2017. Okay, so this is more evidence about the witness ID line. It just keeps getting better. The name of the case where everything resulted from was the matter of Berkowitz v. Harrington. And Berkowitz v. Harrington was decided by the Appellate Division of the Supreme Court, Second Department, which covers Putnam County, by the way. Okay, we conclude that the failure of the subscribing witness to include the town or city and the county in the witness identification information section of the petition is insufficient to warrant invalidation of the petition. I'll say it again. We conclude that the failure of the subscribing witness to include the town or city and the county in the witness identification information section of the petition is insufficient to warrant invalidation of the petition. So why were 600 of my signatures thrown out? Because the witness ID line wasn't filled out. I had three different places in the court, 3 different places in the law that say I don't have to fill it out. And yet 600 signatures were thrown out just to get me into court so that his friend, the judge, could hold on to my papers for 4 days. Okay? My signatures, I got 1,517 signatures. You needed 1,000. He throws out 600. You know, it's something should have been done about this, and it wasn't. They were, people were too scared to take action. So this is what happened. The judge ordered me to be back on the ballot. Okay? This was the headline at that time. Now, when the judge ordered me back on the ballot, this was less than 2 weeks from the primary. Once the judge ordered me on the ballot, he's saying my signatures are good, my procedures are good. This should have been left alone. They should have left me alone. Okay? Because the only violation at that point was that the Board of Elections got served late. Yeah, they got served late because their judge, by design, held on to the papers for 4 days. Other than that, my signatures were perfect, and I still can't get on the ballot. And yet, people today say, you shouldn't be so mad. There were people that actually have, not regular people, I'm talking about elected officials. They actually thought I should have just taken it and shut up, because that's the way we do things in this county. I pay $16,000 a year in this county. That's the best you can do? And nobody had the courage to fire him? He should have been fired a long time ago. The way it used to be, and I'm glad to see that it's changed now under a new person, I guess. But do you know that in the law, for as many Republican employees you have at the Board of Elections, you have to have an equal number of Democrat employees. That's my understanding of the law. Every single Republican that worked at the Board of Elections was on the Republican committee. Every single one of them. Not one wasn't on the committee. Like 10 people on the committee. And all of them, every single one of them, voted for the incumbent. And I'm supposed to think I'm going to get a fair shake? Now, it's nice to see that now that there's a new commissioner and she resigned from the committee. But no member of the Putnam County Board of Elections ever should have been allowed to be on any political committees, Republican or Democrat. That was very, very unethical. But, that's what I'm saying. Like, nobody cared. Nobody cared how it looked. It was embarrassing. It really was. But like I said, when the judge said, when Ivy DiStefano ordered back on sheriff's ballot by a judge, they should have let it go at that point. Anything past that was outright harassment and bullying, And it's amazing. You would think that someone who's always claiming, oh, I've been doing this 30 years. I know everything. I'm great. I'm Mr. Wonderful. I've been doing this 30 years. You would think that if he files an appeal, that he would defend himself against the 600 decisions that went against him. Because the judge, by restoring all my signatures, the judge said, you made 600 mistakes. You made 600 wrong decisions. You would think in an appeal that he would, that the Board of Elections would defend themselves. Say, no, you're supposed to fill out the witness identification information. I'm doing this for 30 years. Do you know who I am? No. You know what they did? They said one thing in their appeal and one thing only. We got served late. It was all part of a plan. Yeah, you got served late because your judge held on to the papers for 4 days. Okay? I'm going to keep saying it and saying it. So until this happens to you, don't judge me. That's all I can tell you. Some of you people were in a position to stop this and you didn't have the courage. And this was something that appeared in the paper. I didn't pay for anything, but somebody was extremely angry, and this went into the into the paper. Make your vote count. Write in the name Andrew DiStefano. And you know what I did? I had these cards made, and I asked people to bring the cards to the election day. To the ballot. You can take the card out. Also, bring with you a black ballpoint pen. And why? Because if you go to do a write-in campaign, if you go do a write-in on someone, if you try to use a Sharpie, especially the Sharpies that the Board of Elections give out, they're old and they have a flat head, the ink would bleed over the line automatically. So if you try to use one of those pens, the ink is going to bleed over the line and the vote will be invalidated. So bring a black ballpoint pen, right? Turn the page sideways because you're allowed to do that. Then take out your black ballpoint pen, take out the name card that says on there Andrew DiStefano, so you can spell my name right, because if you spell it wrong, it's going to be invalidated. And then write in my name, and you're allowed to go over the lines in the boxes as long as you stay in the same vertical line. That's why you turn the page sideways. You're allowed to go Andrew DiStefano right along the vertical line. And then, it's horizontal when you turn it, but then it goes like this when you turn it back right. Because if you go to the right, then and it goes over, then you're going to be in the next race, and it's going to be invalidated. So this was for the Putnam County Sheriff race. Why a write-in? Because to keep me from instituting change in the Sheriff's Department, the Board of Elections improperly invalidated 600 Republican signatures to keep me off the Republican ballot. That is a true statement. I had to take the Board of Elections to court. True statement. The judge ruled that my signatures were valid by law. True statement. All right. Putnam Board of Elections wrongly invalidated 600 signatures. True statement. Now, county leaders, they've hired the most expensive elections lawyer in New York State. Yeah, they did. John Ciampoli. This guy was thousands of dollars. Okay. Their issue has nothing to do with signatures. The Board of Elections claimed they received my papers 1 day late. I filed my legal papers on time. Then the county court judge held the papers. I wrote for 2 days. I didn't know ultimately it was 4 days. I didn't know that. It was not a coincidence. Okay. So, I don't know why this was, taken out, because I just spread the word, asking people to, to write my name in. Again, they were so hell-bent on having the incumbent stay in office for one more term so that he could hire a certain someone as his undersheriff, and that certain someone undersheriff is then going to be the candidate for Republican Party in 2021. Okay, I'm supposed to go along with all this, and when I don't, the power structure, the former power structure, gets mad. Well, you know what? They have to get over it. It shocked them. It shocked them beyond belief that I had that much power. I had that much popularity. I knew that many people. 500 write-ins, right? A couple of people whose IQ wasn't very high, and I'll say that, right to their face. If you believe that I cost the incumbent 1 vote, then your IQ isn't very high, okay? Because you're telling me, give me the name and address of one person who walked into the voting booth, the proverbial voting booth, and then had 2 choices. Either fill in the little circle next to the incumbent's name with a Sharpie, or take out the black ballpoint pen that I told you to bring, okay? Turn the petition, the voting sheet sideways like I taught you to. Take out my voting, my name card that I told you to bring so you could spell my name right, and then write my name vertically across all the lines. Someone did all of that instead of filling in the little circle next to my name? No. Anyone who did all of that for me wrote my name in because they wanted me. Okay? If they were anti-incumbent, they wouldn't have come out to vote. They wouldn't have brought a pen and my name tag and turning the signature sheet sideways. They wouldn't have done all that. People did all that instead of filling in the little circle next to the incumbent's name. No. I got 500 votes. 500 people wanted me. I don't know. Let me tell you something. I don't know anybody who could have done that on the running for sheriff. Nobody. And that may sound very arrogant. That's a statement. I stand by it. Nobody in this county can run for sheriff and get 500 write-in votes like I did. Nobody. Okay. But that's the story of what happened in 2017. What I'm hoping for is that the Board of Elections has finally learned that if someone did not fill out the witness identification information section, I hope the Board of Elections now knows that you don't have to fill it out. It's not, you just don't, okay? That's by the law. It's on page 29 of the election law. It's in Berkowitz v. Harrington. It's in another case which leads to the Election Reform Act of 1992, which took effect January 1st, 1993. Impossible to think that the former Board of Elections didn't know about this. Impossible. But in any event, this has been Andrew DeStefano, Putnam County Crime Analysis. I'm so happy to give you instruction on this, and you have a great day.